Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, days, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hope you're all having a great night, day, weekend, whenever you're checking this out. I've got a review for the latest Disney Plus offering in Pinocchio, which is directed by Robert Zemeckis, who, of course, you know from several different things. The Back to the Future trilogy, Forrest Gump, What Lies Beneath. He did do Castaway. I forgot about that. So it's really interesting. He has such a weird career for me because he does, Back to the Future trilogy, one of my favorite trilogies ever. He does Castaway. He does What Lies Beneath, which, by the way, What Lies Beneath is fucking awesome, and more people need to get on board with that movie. But then he starts Monster House. He does Monster House too. He's an executive producer on that. Then he does like Polar Express. And I get people like Polar Express. That's a weird looking movie. Everyone looks like creepy marionettes, and I just can't handle it. Then of course he does like A Christmas Carol, Flight, which is. That might be my favorite movie of his. That's not a Back to the Future movie. I love Flight. Did Allied, which was, I think, good, not great, but he did Welcome to Marwen, which, my God, that movie pisses me off. I fucking hate Welcome to Marwen, and he did The Witches, which I was not crazy about either. So he's definitely had some very high highs, but his lows for me are extremely low. But Pinocchio here, it's a retelling of the classic story. It stars Tom Hanks as Geppetto once again. Tom Hanks playing a white guy taking advantage of a young white boy, and let me just get this out of the way. I got a screener for this, so I'm recording this actually before Disney Plus Day. And I just gotta say, that's pretty much how I felt most of the time watching this movie. And I'll kind of get into my thoughts on it. But of course it stars Tom Hanks as Geppetto. He lost his son to a tragedy, and so he goes ahead, makes a puppet that looks like his kid, which, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I haven't seen Pinocchio, the 1940s film, the animated film, in forever. I probably haven't seen it in, a decade at least. Pinocchio is just never one of those movies I really wanted to revisit. Like, I always love like Robin Hood and like Rescuers Down Under, stuff like that. But I think Pinocchio is a great movie, but it's just one of those movies I go, I've seen it. Like, that's cool. But I'm happy I didn't rewatch it going into this, because it almost makes me wonder if I went back and watched Pinocchio now, if I would enjoy it. Because just some of the stuff that happens in this movie, I went, this is odd. So let me kind of get to some positives here. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the voice of Jiminy Cricket. I had no idea that was Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I think he does a great job with the voice acting. He does definitely have some kind of cringe lines, but I actually thought he did a really great job voicing Jiminy. Cynthia Erivo is the Blue Fairy in this, who goes ahead and gives grants Geppetto's wish. You of course know her from Widows, Bad Times at El Royale, Harriet, which, she's an incredible actress. And for the little bit she's in here, there is a charisma to her that I really did appreciate, because it's really her just talking to not to Jiminy, at points to Jiminy, but mostly to Pinocchio, who is voiced by Benjamin Evan Answorth. He is on the Haunting of Bly Manor, which is what you probably know him from, and I've heard that's a great show, by the way. But I gotta give a shout to this young man. I don't really know he doesn't have a big filmography at all. Voice acting is not for everyone. Not everyone is great at it. And I thought that for playing Pinocchio. I actually thought he did a really great job. The emotional bits where he needed to kind of be scared and feel like he's in peril, I thought he nailed those, and he nails the naivete that I would want from someone voicing the character. I thought he did a really good job. So this movie isn't devoid of, good things, but now I gotta get to the bad. Zemeckis is gonna Zemeckis. That's a note that I actually have right here because, I'm not spoiling anything here. I mean, everyone's seen Pinocchio, I'm sure by now, or at least most people have, but I thought Pinocchio, the way he looked, we talked about Zemeckis and, things like Polar Express and A Christmas Carol, how the animation just looks weird, just looks a little off. And I thought the way Pinocchio looked here actually worked. I thought Pinocchio actually looked pretty cool. And I thought the way that Pinocchio interacted with the world around him, I actually looked pretty, I actually thought for the most part it looked pretty cool. There is a point where near the end of the movie, and again, I'm not spoiling anything, but everyone knows about, the freaking whale, where they go ahead and get swallowed by Monstro, and the way that those sequences are filmed, I thought were actually really well done. So, the movie's not devoid of good stuff, but for the most part, this just falls into that, why are you remaking this? I mean, it's so weird that they could remake something like Atlantis, and they just don't. Remake that. Remake some stuff that would actually lend itself better to live action. I'm really just at this point with Disney, where it's like, can you please just stop remaking all your shit in a live action for the sake of doing it? Like, do it if you're inspired. If you're gonna do something like The Jungle Book, or something like Beauty and the Beast, which I really enjoyed, or even something like The Lion King, which I enjoyed. If you're gonna go ahead and do it live action, actually have it warranted. Don't give me Mulans, don't give me Dumbos, don't give me these nonsensical, completely unnecessary live action remakes just for the sake of making money. I mean, I know it's Disney I'm talking to, so what the fuck am I talking about? That's where I'm at with this. Like, I was never mad watching this, but I really was just sitting there going, this is just, it's here. Like, why is it here? Doesn't really need to be here. I will give the movie a couple more bits of credit. So, Keegan-Michael Key voices Honest John in this movie, and I will say, while Pinocchio I thought looked good, actually I'd say great for the most part, as far as how he interacted in live action. Jiminy Cricket's design, I don't know why Jiminy Cricket just kind of looks like almost like a mini Riddler at points. He just looks a little weird to me in some shots, but the more the movie went on, I did kind of get used to it. But I don't know, just in some moments, Jiminy looked off to me. I think the fox, Honest John, and I can't remember the other fox's name, it doesn't matter, they look terrible. Anytime they're talking to Pinocchio, I just felt like they were in a completely different movie, the way their animation was done. It's very off-putting, for me, at least. You can just tell, like, it need to be rendered again or animated different. I just wasn't crazy about how that looked. Oh gosh, what's the other thing I was going to bring up? Oh yeah. So I was really curious if Disney would actually have the guts to go insane with, how Pinocchio ends up at Pleasure Island, which, that's so weird it's called Pleasure Island. Like, I don't remember if all this is in the original film, but Pleasure Island, a place for kids, like, that's weird, right? Like, no one else thinks that's, anyways, but as I'm watching the movie, I'm sitting there going, are they gonna have the guts to go ahead and do the whole thing with the kids and donkeys? Like, cause I could see Disney nerfing that and going like, oh, we'll make the kids, the kids go insane and act a fool and they'll, like, shrink into nothing or something like that. I could see Disney doing something like that. Actually having them turn into donkeys like in the original and seeing how that actually happens was something I was not expecting. And I really was sitting there going, oh, wow, I'm shocked you went there. So I gotta give the movie credit for that. And because Zemeckis is against Zemeckis, he makes even that bit, which was already terrifying, he goes ahead and adds something to it that I went, oh my god, this is somehow darker. I have to actually give Zemeckis credit for this. I will say, for me, the movie definitely ends stronger than it starts, and I think that's also maybe just kind of how I felt about the story in general. It feels like it does take a little while to get going. Also, Geppetto sending Pinocchio off to school without walking him to school or really giving him much direction outside of just come back at 5 o'clock. Like, I felt like you're kind of throwing him out to the wolves there, Geppetto. What the fuck? And I don't know. I that just was something that didn't really hit great with me, watching it like this. But I don't know. I just, as I was watching this, I went, this is fine. It's not great. It's not bad, but it's fine. There is one jump scare, and I kind of put jump scare in quotes. The Sophia the Seagull, who's voiced by Lorraine Bracco, she voices Sophia, and you probably know her from Goodfellas, which she's great in. I laughed really hard because there is this jump scare with Jiminy and that seagull that caught me so off guard that actually made me laugh. I was like, okay, that's pretty great. And there is one shot I do want to bring up at the 41 minute and 4 second mark. That might be my favorite shot of the movie. There are some shots in here that are actually really beautiful, and I gotta give Zemeckis, credit for that. But again, just for the most part, as I've been saying, I just kept thinking, yeah, this is really unnecessary. Like, it's slightly longer than the animated film, which I think it's like 80 minutes. This one's like 94, something like that. So it's not much longer, but it's a little longer. Again, there's just really no reason for this to be a thing outside of just getting subscribers. But I liked it maybe a little more than I thought I would, but it did at the end of the day just feel unnecessary. So, the last thing I will throw out is Luke Evans is in here. He plays the coachman who takes all the kids to Pleasure Island, and Luke Evans gets a song in here, and oh man, Luke Evans kills it. I think we really do undervalue Luke Evans. Like, usually when I see him in something, Luke Evans kills it. Like, he's great as Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. He's the best part of that fucking movie. I was really happy to see him pop up here because I did not know he was going to be in this. But yeah, I dug him for a little bit. We get him. So, as I mentioned, as I get to my final thoughts here, it's not a horrible movie. I definitely did get some enjoyment out of this. This is definitely something. It's coming out on Disney Plus on Disney Plus Day, so it will be out this weekend by the time you listen to this. Thank God it's on Disney Plus, because this is something, if I had seen this in a theater at full price, I would have gone, yeah, it's not close to full price, or worth full price at all. But watching this at home on Disney Plus, it's exactly where it should be. It's exactly the way you should watch it. Watch it at home, watch it at home with the kids. If anything, this might get your kids intrigued to watch the original, which I would show. Like, if I had, being an uncle, I would show this to my friends' kids. And if they're like, oh, I'd like to see the animated. It's a cool way to show them the animated one. Or hell, just show them the animated one. But it's a C+. It's fine. It's alright. But I have no pardon me, desire to ever rewatch this. I will say too, I did think Tom Hanks would be better in this. It's not like he's bad. I think there are a couple points where he's like good, but I think you'll know what I mean, especially if you're, a little older. Watching him kind of talk about Pinocchio in the beginning, it feels a lot like Astro Boy, and so I was kind of sitting there waiting for things to get a little darker, to be honest. It comes across kind of like a horror movie as the movie starts, which I guess kind of is a horror movie if you think about it, but I don't know. I thought Tom Hanks would be better in this, and this is kind of that second role in a row that I've been like, okay, like, I thought you'd be better in this, but yeah, it's fine. So C+. But Pinocchio, have you seen it, everyone? What'd you think about it? Let us know in the comments. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at jhunterrealpineapple. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can listen to us most places you listen to podcasts. Apple, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, Samsung Podcasts, at The Real Pineapple. Don't forget to like both our both our pages, on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. That's REEL Pineapple, and Real Pineapple Games. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/jhunterrealpineapple. That again is REEL Pineapple, and you can find me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam and on TikTok at Black Shazam 775. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. The weekly slice will be back on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, so September 11th. We will have a new weekly slice talking about a D23 and the announcements coming out from there, and we'll talk box office as well. So I've got a little bit to talk about on Sunday, but we'll have that up. We'll have reviews up as well here soon for Samaritan, and I'm gonna try to get to the theater and see, I'm definitely seeing Clerks 3. That's happening next weekend. So, I think I'm going to review at least the first Clerks before that. So I might have a review up for Clerks, but I will let you all know if that ends up being a thing. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe out there. Wear your mask, get your booster if you haven't yet. Tell someone you love them today. We all need to hear that more. But thank you so much for your support, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.